Next up, as I mentioned, the WWE Universal Championship is on the line. Daniel Bryan challenges the champion, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt gets a nice reaction from the crowd. The Fiend actually comes out with the WWE Universal Championship around his neck. So he's not an over-the-shoulder guy or around-the-waist guy. He's around-the-neck guy. Unfortunately, we still have the red lights of doom for this match. It would appear that they're not going away anytime soon, which is sad. I mean, like I said in the preview video, for me, now I got a bit of backlash on social media when I said that all I could see was red during that match. Because people said, oh, it adds to the character, it adds to the mystique of the Fiend, it adds this. For me, and this might just be me, it'll be interesting to see what other people think, but for me, it just takes you out of the moment of the match. These lights to me are just so fucking stupid. You're focusing on the lights and not what's happening in the ring. The whole point of a match is for the fans to be focusing what's going on in the ring, not what's going on around it. Anyway, Daniel Bryan hits a series of drop kicks before being turned inside out by a clothesline by the Fiend. The Fiend throws Daniel Bryan into the ring post, followed by a senton on the outside. The Fiend then hits a uranagi in the ring on Daniel Bryan. The Fiend then begins to work on Daniel Bryan's neck, does his trademark neck snap. He's still trying to murder people in the ring, it would seem. They did some nice close-ups on the Fiend here, where that mask, the contact lenses, the makeup, just whenever you close up on the face of the Fiend, it's just awesome. That is captivating, and you don't need to see it under the red lights for it to be captivated. I know that maybe that's their intent. Maybe, when you can't really see it, it's through the red light, it just seems even more sinister and evil, but I don't think it needs it. I really don't think it needs it. The Fiend then runs into the steps after Daniel Bryan sidesteps him on the outside. Daniel Bryan goes for a suicide dive, but Wyatt catches him in mid-air going for Sister Abigail, which was a nice counter. Bryan gets out, though, and hits a running knee off the apron. Then he jumps off the top rope to the outside onto the Fiend, which was nicely shot, this one. They also had the sort of old school where Bryan sort of jumps over the cameraman onto the Fiend, which was quite a nice spot. In the ring, Daniel Bryan hits 2 missile drop kicks, but the Fiend keeps getting back to his feet. Bryan then hits the yes kicks, followed by a kick to the head, but the Fiend gets straight back up. He's like modern day Undertaker, isn't it? Just always getting back up, straight back up. He hits the yes kicks again, followed by a kick to the head, but the Fiend gets right back up. He does it for a third time, and Wyatt sort of stumbles a little bit. The crowd thought he was going to get back up, but he didn't. It was just the Fiend is slightly human after all. Bryan then continuously stomps on the head of Bray Wyatt. Then finally, which they've been building up to, Daniel Bryan does the yes chants, which gets a nice reaction from the crowd, followed by the running knee, but the Fiend kicks out at 2. Chants of Daniel Bryan and Yowie Wowie dueling here. Then we have a similar shot to how the Fiend rose at Crown Jewel behind Seth Rollins. They do the same thing here, where the Fiend rises behind Daniel Bryan, but it's shot sort of facing Daniel Bryan, so you see the Fiend lurking in the background. That's tremendously shot there from the WWE production crew. The Fiend then locks in the mandible claw, but Bryan actually locks in an armbar to counter this over the ropes. Bray Wyatt, though, goes for Sister Abigail, but Bryan rolls up the Fiend for a 2 count, which was a close one. The Fiend then catches Bryan with a mandible claw again, and that's all she wrote, folks. We get a 3 count. This one wasn't overly long, but I think without doubt, I don't think people will argue with me here. I think it was the best match we've seen the Fiend have. The red lights really need to go. They really do. But that didn't stop the crowd being into it. There was at certain points a believability that Bryan might actually be able to pull this off. It's difficult to have this, great scientific, tremendous match with a character as dominant as the Fiend, and The Undertaker almost touched on it in his Broken Skull Sessions interview with Stone Cold on the network, which go and watch. It's a fascinating watch, where he was saying to be a sort of evil character, you have to sort of be moving slowly and creepily around the ring, which is kind of what the Fiend does here. His sort of mannerisms as he walks around the ring is slow, which obviously does affect the pacing of the match. You're not going to have this quick match full of high spots, but it would appear that this would be the right formula for the Fiend matches. The Fiend dominates early on. We get a bit of hope from the challenger. They hit all their big moves, which gets a close near fall, but then the Fiend recovers and gets the win. In comparison to Wyatt's matches against Rollins, this match was a lot better. Now, that's not hard considering the shit show that those matches were. Is that probably because the crowd was actually behind Daniel Bryan, as opposed to really wanting to see the Fiend beat Seth Rollins? Probably, I would say so. I mean, it actually helps to have a credible babyface that the crowd is behind if you're going up against the monstrous Fiend character. But I thought this was okay. The crowd was responding well to it. And, of course, we had the correct result. I mean, the Fiend needs to keep continuing to go over as we continue to build him up as this unbeatable monster. But, yeah, the red lights, not for me. What friend does he have in the lighting department there for those lights? They need to go. But hey, they've stuck with him this long. I can't see them changing it anytime soon.